Alright, we should now be live. Hello everyone, and welcome to today's live stream where I'll be going over a kind of overview on how I made this crystal project. So I've been taking a little break from streaming, toning it down a bit, and I found making projects like these a lot more, I don't know, I feel like I have a new perspective, which is really nice. But for this project, it mostly relies on a parallax node that I made a while back. So I will go and show the actual shader. With all of this, this is all just one object that is copied a ton. So here is the object, just random variations of this. So it's just a card. I found that copying the card and rotating it by 90 degrees works well. You know, the classic that's used in games all the time. But in this case, this worked out just fine because most of the cards are aligned with the camera plane. But having it be crisscrossed is very good. I gave it a little bit of a concave shape, just cuz, but as we can see here, with the crisscross look, it looks perfect, nearly perfect. A random Z rotation would help out a ton, but it works out quite well. And also, one other thing, to make this look good, we don't really rely on the environment lighting almost at all. This is mostly an emissive effect, even though it does, the environment does take it into account a little bit. So yeah, let's go and showcase this. So a few things. One, we have, this all relies on one image texture just for speed reasons. This could be just a noise texture, which is what I used before, but then I was like, you know what, let me make this as fast as possible because I'm thinking about porting this to game engine. Not entirely sure just yet, but it's noise. I think this was set to 12, and this is 0.65. 0.65. So it would be something along those lines, and maybe scaled up to maybe like 20, I'm not sure. But whenever you see this, it's this noise. And also this noise is looped. I think I have a tutorial on how to do that. It's one of the really old ones. But it's basically that. I did that like over a year ago. I was like, you know what, let's try to make this as fast as possible because we'll be putting quite a few cards in here. And alphas do not like procedural textures, especially in this case where I'm, you know, using that. Okay. So for the for the actual iridescence, right here we can see the iridescence right here, stands the alpha, and man, that looks good. But the way that this works is by parallaxing the noise. Here we can see the old noise texture that I was using, we don't need that. So it relies on a parallax UV setup that I made. I made it a node group. I think it might be in one of my material packs, but not the asset version. So I'll just show you what I made. Look very closely. It's a complicated setup. I apologize for that. But I think most of this is just the controls for like the height. So here, let me try to make this a little more. Ideally, you wouldn't even need to look inside the node, which is why I made it so compact. But anyway, I'm just going to make it bigger just in case you wanted to replicate it. You could possibly also use the incoming texture coordinate, but parallax is like a more controllable version of that. So here we have that, and then we basically take the tangent, we kind of store the local transforms, that's what the dot products are for, and then we redo it with a altered setting. So that's that. I'm going to Control Z this just in case I actually edited the entire asset. It would be fine either way. Yeah, let's just do that. Okay, so that's the parallax side. But for the iridescence, what we do is we basically take the noise texture, offset the parallax by a little bit for each one. So as you can see, I have 3 of these here. If I set them all to be -4, we should see, and there's a node group just to make it a lot more compact. We can see that we still get that very nice glass look, but it's not quite, it doesn't have quite the shine to it. So with actual light, you know, it gets split quite a bit when going through glass and such, which makes it look really, really, really good. In 3D programs, we can only approximate this if you don't want to spend eons rendering. So this is what I found works best. There may be ways of making it work without having to do it 3 times, but we basically take the red, green, and blue. Oh, and these settings are just to control the fall off. So blue, I think, spreads a little bit more than the red and such. It just goes into the map range. Oh, and also there's the fancy light fall off, or the kind of logarithmic-ish fall off, which you've probably seen me use quite often. It just makes the emissive gradient so much more crisp. I'll go and showcase that in a second, but I just want to put this on the main setup for now. So let's look into the light fall off. Here we minimum the input first so that it doesn't clip and then it goes back to 0. That's set to 0.999. And then here, let me disconnect the inputs. I'll need to reconnect these. But it's basically, let's see, that was like, so you set to 0.999, this close to 0.999, and then you multiply it by the output, and then you can multiply it by something so that you can control the strength. I've gone over this before, I think in actual tutorials of mine, but shouldn't make too much of a difference. So that's that, and boom, you have, well, not quite boom. Let me go over the other parts. So we have the noise. The noise looks like this. I scaled it, like, if I take off the scaling, the noise just goes up, so I added in a little bit of scaling to give it a little bit of curve. It's not really necessary, but I found that looked just a little bit better. Okay, then after that, we take the gradient here. In this case, the gradient is centered because I centered the UV map. Then we add some noise to it to offset it by a little bit. In this case, it's like that. I subtracted by 0.5 just to make it so that the noise will offset it both positively and negatively. And then we derive the alpha from that, and it's good. Here we don't need any normal maps. No bump maps, none of that. Because it is mostly an emissive effect, which looks really, really good. And oddly enough, it works in most environments. Like if the environment is really bright, it's like, oh yeah, no, that looks kind of normal. If it's really dark, it's like, okay, they're a little bit glow in the dark. Perfectly fine for magical crystals like this. But you just want to edit it to your scene because, again, rendering this physically accurately will take way too long. Well, in this case, I'm getting a good 30 frames per second, I would think. Oh, and this part right here. This, as the frame implies, is just the fade to black. I found that this just makes it sit into the scene better. It just affects where the emission will stop, and it'll fall back to just the base that's right here. I also have this set to metallic, which is not entirely necessary, but it's good enough. If I were to turn this off, we can see that it's a little bit too bright. It doesn't really fade into the floor. But if we do it, it settles in quite well. Maybe I could raise it up a little bit. But yeah, it's all up to experimentation. I have many plans for this. Oh, and I should also show the old versions of this. So I was inspired by a breakdown of, I forgot what game it was, but of how one, it was some RPG, I'm forgetting it, of how they did crystals in there. And in that case, they used just pictures of crystals, edited the channels a bit, cut out the outline and such to make them look good. In this case, I'm using procedural stuff, so I deviated from it to make it how I wanted, but it looks pretty good. Let's go over to, let's see, collection crystal. So this was the first iteration, which was doing it like the other games did, that one game, where it's, oh, we are taking, it looks way too bright for some reason. That's a bit more like it. Where you take an image of a crystal and then you know, just put it around, add some parallax. It looks good, but not quite as good as I was hoping. Probably because, again, I did this in like 2 hours. Maybe a bit more once I went over to the other version. But it's like, okay, you take the crystals, you put them into images, and then you go along. It works well. But yeah, there is that. And then let's go through the other versions. That is not the correct one. Yikes. Let's see, let's take a look at this one. Ah, so this was another version of mine. It's using a very similar texture, but this one, well, not a similar texture. This one is procedural once again. Oh, and this one, it does look good. I will reuse this at some point. As we can see, the parallax is very much doing its job. And again, these are all flat. I could do the crisscross planes so that they look good even at this angle, random rotation. But it's amazing what you can get away with by just making it look right. And I think the fancy light fall off technique that I have is holding up like 80% of this. But you could do that with a power node easily. That part doesn't factor in too much. But that's how I did that. I would like to make other crystals look really, other colored crystals look very, very cool. But at the moment, I found that white just looked very, very nice. And also, these crystals, they could be 3D. It would work. But I just wanted to experiment with how far I could push just the shader. And this portion, again, they're flat planes, but these ones, they don't use alphas. So they are quite a bit faster than the alternatives. I need to remember not to save this file because I am playing around with it quite a bit. Oh, and also, later on in the live stream, I will be going over the proposed matrix or transform nodes. Those might be coming in 4.1. It's still up in the air, but we may be getting those, and it could optimize quite a bit. It'll make geometry nodes much more robust of a platform. Yep. All right. Okay. Let's see, what was I doing again? Sorry, I was just lost in the crystal stuff. That sounds a bit bad out of context. The crystal aesthetic of these polygon crystals, you know. The only crystal stuff that I know of course. Okay, let's go over to Crystal 3. Ah, that's the last version. So you can see why I prefer the kind of grass version over this one. You know, this one's cool, it's good, it would be really good for a background asset. But, not that one. But this one, it's just perfect. Just turning up the colors, turning up everything. And it looks like almost like dew on the leaves, which I think would look really, really good. If I were to alter this so that the grass is green and then just have the light fall off, make all this look, you know, like water on the leaves, it would look really, really good. I want to try that out. Another thing that I want to try out is making a character, not a character, a character, an animal that has this kind of fur on it, because this, you know, it looks quite similar to fur. I was like, you know what? In one movie, I forgot which one, it was one of the Star Wars ones, they had a fox that looked like its fur was made out of crystals. Ones that were pretty different from this one, but I really want to try that out because it could look really, really good. I could try adding grass physics to this. I already have a setup for that. I would just need to swap out one of the grass cards for another, which would look really, really, really good with this setup. It would look amazing. I am looking forward to vertex displacement in Eevee Next if Eevee Next gets released in 4.1 or 4.2. We'll see. But that would be really, really cool because that means that we can deform these in a much faster way. More like how game engines do it. It's been delayed by almost 2 years, which I'm really sad about. But it seems like it is a priority now, which is really good. Geometry nodes development got semi-sacrificed for Eevee Next, Grease Pencil, the Compositor, and so on. Oh, and also, I may or may not have been digging through the Blender source code recently, and I found out why the Scene Time node was never put into the shader editor. It's because the Compositor and Geometry nodes are in C++, and I'm assuming, I haven't looked in the regular shader editor nodes just yet, but I'm assuming that one is still in Python. So, or whatever language they're using there. What I mean to say is, the Scene Time node is in a different language in geometry nodes and the compositor versus the shader editor, which is why we don't have it. I really wish I could add it myself, but my skills are not there at the moment. But yeah, there are many interesting things while looking through the code. I have found out so many interesting quirks of particularly the deform curves on surface node that I did not know about, but it's really valuable to know. Okay, now that we have this, I think that's all I want to do for this part. Yeah, with 15 minutes, that's good enough. Yeah, if you have any questions, please let me know. I do want to switch this. Oh, and by the way, for the geometry node side, nothing too complex here. It's just random orientation, semi-random. And it's aligned, of course, to the normal, and then we do that. The reason I'm doing this instead of just the rotation, I'm in 4.1, but I made this file in 3.6. So it would work in either or. I'm using this to align the front of the things, the grass, because I was like, okay, we're just gonna have 2D planes, but the crisscross would work, and it doesn't look bad. It's barely noticeable, especially in scenes like this where it's very fibrous. But again, for the older version with the crystals, I think making these 3D would be better than having them be 2D cards because they're so close. They're low poly. I could just go and, you know, kind of make them a little more 3D and they would look perfect. The UV maps wouldn't be a problem, just the lighting would be better. Take a look at that. I do want to experiment with the... Here, let me do this. Oh, and by the way, here are the... Here's the grass card, and then here are the different rock cards. Oh, by the way, one thing that I did gloss over entirely is that I did store the instance scale and then feed it into the scale of the UV map after that. It's not necessary, but it just helps to not crunch down the noise, the parallax noise texture all too much. It's not really necessary. If I were to swap that out with this, we would see that it's pretty much the same, but you can see it's getting a little scrunched up. So I just did that, and it really evens it out by quite a bit. All right. Like, if you didn't want to do that, you could just have multiple scales of the crystal, which would be fair enough. And we just store the scale here, and it works just fine. Okay, I think that should be everything. Right, what was I? Yes. I'm going to go and try to edit the color. So again, this is another setup that used procedural textures. Slower, but it's okay. This one, again, noise texture and such. Yeah. So I could change the color distribution by changing the map range values there. And I haven't really found the best combination for this because it feels like it's just kind of tinting it without like really making it look like the color is changed. And I'm not the biggest fan of that. I think that's because the brighter it becomes, yeah, I think it's because the brighter it becomes, even when the color's shifted, it stays really saturated. Well, I would want to desaturate it as the value gets higher. So if I use say, separate color, separate the hue, saturation, and the value, do that so that we'll have to desaturate when it gets bigger. No, that kind of undoes the... Well, we'll try it anyway. That looks really... Wait, something's really wrong about that. Yeah, I just want the saturation to go down, not, the colors to invert. Alright, I can play around with that another time. Alright, for the... Yeah, we're almost at 20 minutes. So I think I will pivot. Yeah, you can play around with this if you want, see what works. Even though I'm still not... Here, let me The drop down down. I really like the drop downs in 4.1. When I made this in 3.6, which I have multiple versions of Blender installed, so I keep swapping between them, and sometimes I forget which one I'm in. But, yeah, 3.6, the principled node then, wasn't that great. Because of, again, it was clunky. But now, we can just go and collapse everything, and it's so nice and clean. Cleanliness is really good. Because if your setups aren't clean, when you come back, you will not remember what's happening. What is your GPU's name? Fred. It's an RTX 3060. But yeah, look at that. Like, with a little bit more shading. And does this one even have the bottom fade? It does, but I disabled it. Okay, let's go and add back in the bottom fade. So even without the iridescence, like, look at that. Like, they look 3D just because you faked the ambient occlusion, kind of. What do you mean by matrix nodes? Ah, yes, I should get to that. So with this, it makes it look like they're all 3D and stuff, even though they're not. It's quite good. Like, look at that. That's so, so good. Oh, wait, that doesn't bump it up at all. Let me go and... There we go. That's a little bit better. There's that fall off coming into play. It's so good. Like, I have so many projects that I want to make once I finally get crystals, like, really figured out. But it's like, I want to make kind of like a geode. Yeah, just a geode. A geode, like the inside of a sphere that has all the... I could do that right now. I'll just test it. But we will get to the matrix nodes. 1 second, everyone. So again, for those of you who just joined, we have 27 people here. I'm going to switch back to the grass version. I'm so happy with how this turned out. It looks so good. It's really, really nice. And I'm not entirely sure how I could improve it. Like, some parts are clipping to the edge of the mesh a little bit, but it's not that bad. I want to try this with snowflakes. I want to try this with so many other things. But it would be really, really, really cool to do. Well, I'll probably do that off stream because I've been enjoying making things off stream where, I don't know, I get to experiment a bit more. You know how it is when you're doing stuff in front of a live audience. There's a heightened sense of, oh, this has to work. While when you're doing it yourself, you just kind of get to vibe it out and do whatever you want. Things could fail, and you're just like, oh, let's just move on to the next thing. Alright. Let's see. Wait, what else was I going to change? Oh, right. I wanted this on a geode. Okay. Geometry node editor. Let's make sure that this doesn't freak out. Oh, by the way, the scales setup that I made a little live stream on yesterday. It's out on Gumroad for free, but I also did a few upgrades to make it so that it wouldn't be as prone to exploding. Exploding in the sense of the instances would be way too big due to the face scale. I just made it so that they would look at their next, their closest neighbor, which since they're evenly distanced mostly, it should be pretty much perfect. A little more expensive though, but the whole thing's not exactly real time. Okay, enough delaying. I'm setting that to 3D so that when I put this on a sphere, it'll look really, 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 really good. So here's the sphere. Whoa, that's so cool! Sorry if I'm geeking out about my own projects. It's just... it's so cool. Let me set that to be like that. So we can see that the 2D plane method has its limits. But if I do this, yeah, these should be 3D. Like, it's not too bad. Like on the grass one, the crisscrossing would work very, very, very well. Let me try to just, that's pretty dumb, but I think it might work. So it doesn't quite look like a geode, especially here. Let's see if I can crack open part of it and then see inside. Wait, no, something's off. That's the pivot completely wrong. Here, let me just put in the rotation. There we go, that's a bit better. It's looking a little more like a geode, but let's just go and slice a little bit off the top. Vertices. Oh, that's interesting. So since this one does rely on the outside HDRI a bit more, I could turn that off. But it's pretty cool. Hello, Crazy Cat. I've been digging through the source code for Blender, figuring out all the quirks with the nodes, and I found quite a few interesting ones that will help me out significantly when trying to recreate certain effects. The curves node, the deform curves on surfaces node, has been described as a kind of black box because there's a lot of weird stuff happening in it. It's a very non-standard node because it references named attributes that aren't default, usually. So I was looking through it, and it does not use the UV tangent for the curve placement, which I really thought it did. It just uses like one vertex of the face and then the other one. And there was a comment in there saying, hey, we should we should switch this out because interpolation is a little bit of an issue. But in my version, the version of the deform curves on surface node that I made, just because, well, because I needed it for the hair project and I didn't want it to be super slow. When I made it, I used the UV tangent, and the interpolation was just fine. Except, you know, when there's seams, it has to split, but it's okay. It wouldn't be any worse than the method that they use, because it's per face. While my version would interpolate over the faces because it's the UV tangent. The interpolated, well, semi-interpolated UV tangent. It's a bit funky. Alright, so there's the first try at the geode. As we can see, it looks kind of... the crystals need to be 3D for it to look really, really good. But speaking of that, let's go and switch this out for the Ooh, that looks good! That looks like a geode. Mostly. Let me switch out the scaling of it. That looks like a geode to me. Even though it is clipping, it's like, oh, that's actually adding to the crystalline nature of it. It looks really good. But yeah, with the source code stuff, I have plans. I want to experiment with adding in some more customizable nodes that I've been wanting for a while, but I will need to see how on earth the nodes work. I can't create new nodes just yet, but I did tinker around with a few nodes to edit some stuff, and it mostly worked. So I want to see what I can do. But yeah. I think that's good enough for now. You know, just a little geode test. I would say it looks mostly like a geode. And I also want to edit the other crystal billboard. I should call it a crystal card. Or axis aligned planes, as some people would call it. Yeah, that just looks like a hue shift. While doing that, it's like, kind of, but not quite. Like oranges, again, since my name is Cartesian Caramel, I'm quite particular to the oranges. I don't think I'll get to ones that look quite as good. Like this just looks like grass, but from the outside it looks, you know, geode-like. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. I'm going to switch topics to the possible matrix nodes. Right now, I am running a custom... Wait, I need to open up a new file. Don't save. I am running on a test build of Blender where it has the matrix nodes. So let me go and move this over. So here, it has a few nodes to create matrices, so or transforms as they call it. So you take a location, rotation, scale, you compress it into one thing, 4x4 floats, which means that it's just 1 float, 2 float, 3 and 4 floats. So a 4x4 grid of floats, which makes me wonder if it'll be more expensive to use a matrix transform than a location, rotation, and scale transform. I know 3x3 matrices exist, but they're using 4x4 because it's used in other places in Blender. But this node will simplify quite a bit, and I think a lot of people who wanted to use Blender from like Houdini and other programs will really like this change, because it's a lot, you know, it's more official than being like, okay, let's store a named attribute, location, rotation, and scale. But then again, I was just thinking, how would this look in the shader editor? I highly doubt that it is viewable in the shader. You know what? I'm going to try it. 4x4 matrix. Nice. I don't know, something, maybe it's because of the movies, but hearing 4x4 matrix sounds really cool. Let's just label this A, and let's crash Blender really, really quickly. Probably more efficient, I would imagine, yeah. It's like, just in storing it alone, saying, hey, just this attribute, we're storing all this data, even though it might be a little bit more data than a 3x3 matrix or location, rotation, and scale. Since it's packed into just one node declaration, it should be better. So let's go and see if I can crash Blender. And also, can matrices be stored? They should be able to be stored on anything. We'll see though. Okay, attributes. What did I name this? A. How did I not remember that? My brain just did not record it. Okay. They won't show up in the shader editor. That's perfectly reasonable. Because, again, colors have 3 channels, and this has 16 channels. So that makes sense. I'm going to switch gears really quick because I want to try this out on my face folding algorithm. So let me just face rolling 4. Okay. Again, this is a special build of Blender. The devs were talking, one of the devs was talking about today how they wanted to get this into Blender because it's, I think according to them, fairly complete. Just the, like, there are a few little quirks with this that you can get around pretty easily, but if you want to get the object transform, you can put that in, but you don't get the relative or original. But you could just use the object info node and then convert it into a transform. Oh, transpose matrix. Ooh, I need to figure out what that does. Combine transform. There we go. So you could just do this to convert it, which is good. One thing from Unreal, which was really cool, is that you could have, like, they have a transform or a matrix, and then you can just hit a key to expand it into the subtypes, which I found really, really cool. Was that control rig? I am forgetting at the moment. I wonder how useful it would be to have a custom channel packing node. I'd have to think about that. Currently, I think there were talks about using a create or let's see. Let's look at all the nodes. So utilities, again, this is on a special separate build. Combined, oh wait, I already had that one. Invert matrix, that one could be really, really useful. No, that one will be extremely useful and so much faster. Multiply matrices, I really wonder how that works because multiplying vectors is difficult. Project vector, I want to figure out what that one does. Separate, we've already done that. I really like the color as well. And I think it'll be just very useful overall. Transform direction. Interesting. And then transpose matrix. So those seem to be all the nodes for now. This was made by Hans, I believe, who I believe also did the rotation nodes. So getting the new node types, it's good. This one will make things a lot easier on people, especially people who, you know, use matrices quite often. And especially for a project like this, where I'm dealing with transforms all the time. I want to see how fast it will make this file. Okay, so I'm going to just take some notes of the times here. Feel free to just jot them down really quickly. So this takes around 5 milliseconds, and I want to see this on the big one. So on this one, it takes, okay, so around 35 milliseconds. So let's see what changes over time. Where's the other one? Ah, there's that. We don't need that one. Okay. I'm guessing 4.1 is still is an experimental build. Yes, I believe this is coming out in March or April. I forget which. Okay, we're at 35 minutes. We're still good. So we can see here I'm converting position, rotation, scale into, you know, doing basically transform math. So I want to see how much of this I can just simplify completely. So yeah. Oh. Yeah, this file won't be saved because, again, this is an experimental build. So, this will have to be just remade. But it's good for me to get familiar with the new nodes right now. Okay. So we have rotation. Okay, so I can't... Okay, let's go and, combine, transform. So I would put that into there, and the scale can be 1, and then we can store that as face transform. Trans. All right, 4x4 matrix. That should be good. And now, in the next one, we need to, for local transforms. Wait, I need to... I'll read the chat really quickly. Hi, do you plan on redoing the tutorial on geometry light paths anytime soon? Not really. Projects like that have kind of burnt me out a little bit, just because I think with the light paths, that one's really, really old, and trails are laggy with the caching now. Before with the buffer hack, they were super fast, but now they're just super slow. So I really don't want to do that anymore, which is really sad, but anyway. Okay. So next up, so I would need to store the local transforms. Okay. So how would I do that with an actual transform? Again, I need to look up how to do matrix math. Face local trans. Let's set this to be 4x4. And no, this is going to make stuff simpler because, again, we just need to evaluate that at the parent. I'm a little worried about the local transforms, though, so I may need to break that out and do some stuff, but we'll see about that. I just want to get it functional at this time. Okay, so let's just go and break this out. Let's go have that be 4x4 matrix, 4x4 matrix. That's good. Let's see. I really like how cool the sockets look. Like that, I like how saturated it is. That color is very, very nice. Okay, so there's invert matrix, which I think will play a part. We compare the current transform. Oh wait, what is this? Face trans. And then we, let's see, what nodes do we have available? This is what I do when new nodes come around. It's just, okay, let's figure out what they do. There's project vector, multiply matrices, separate transform, transform direction, transform vector. We can transform vectors, which may be really, really good for the vertex positions. Yeah, I think that's what we should do later on. Transpose matrix. I don't know. I should look at the documentation, but the documentation I don't think is written yet. Maybe I could... No, I can't look at the code because I don't have that build. I could separate this out into location, rotation, and scale, do what I want, and then store it again. But I really don't want to. Like, inverting the matrix is good. We already have that. As we can see, that would be taking the place of that. And then, I mean, we could do what we're doing here already. Again, this is basically a matrix inversion kind of thing, but yeah. They have an invert matrix. This is a game changer. I remember having to do matrix math with floats a while ago, and it was very bad and slow. Sorry about that. I hope this is better. Because inverting a matrix, it's not just, oh, subtract them. There are multiple, like, scaling and stuff like that is very annoying. But I'm a bit unsure of how to get the local matrix. Because there is, and if someone knows who has done a lot of matrix stuff before, like, multiply matrix feels like it would be the answer to get a local, oh wait. Like, it feels like it would be the right thing, but again, I don't know how 4x4 matrices work. So I'm just going to try this. And if it breaks, actually wait, maybe it would be better if I tried the vertex local transforms now. Just replace that one part and get a feel for it before I overhaul the entire system. So to do that, I have the face transforms already, so that's good. So I would just need face transforms, and I also don't know how well these interpolate. I'm assuming that there might be some quaternion stuff underneath, so the interpolation should be fine, but I'm not sure. Okay, where's that one node? Okay, utilities, matrix. Okay, let's see. Transform vector. So I'm assuming if I invert the matrix and do this, this should make this... Shoot. It does not work perfectly. No. I wonder why. Oh, it transpose. Invert matrix. Oh, there we go. Nice. Oh, how about that? So as we can see, you don't need a custom node group to do all this. It's now just one node. So now, yeah, okay, so workarounds avoided. See how nice that is? Oh, and I didn't catch the timing before and after. So here, oh, that's not a good sign. Uh-oh. It's almost double. Uh-oh. Actually, wait. Not quite double, but it's close. Maybe it's the conversion that's the issue. And at the end, it freaks out. Intriguing. I wonder why. Well, quirks. We'll figure out the quirks. Alright, maybe it's because with the resolution part right here. Transform vector. And then I could combine these into a matrix and then do that. I believe you would make a custom transform node with this. You could make an inverted rotation thing that you made before, but faster. Yeah, like this already, like I wouldn't even need to make a node group because it would be two nodes, transform vector, and then just invert the other transformation. Or, you know, I would just replace the internals with something that would be faster. I could do that now. Yeah, I could just go and replace a lot of this. So do transform, transform the vector. So I would need to combine, transform. There we go. We do that. So yeah, this will make this a lot simpler. Again, I don't plan on saving this because this is a test build. Experimental. 4.1's very experimental, and this is even more experimental. Until it gets merged. Which they say might happen. So no promises. Okay, yeah, okay. It's not bad. Timing seems to have gone down by a little bit. It's still around the same time. So, stack face transforms. This one I'm a little worried about. Just a little. Because I need to take that transform, which is already a lot of data, break it out. And by the way, the scale, I'm not entirely stacking honestly. How would we do that? Either location rotation. So I could... It would be one node input, which could be better. So I will try that, but... Okay. So that could work for there. It seems like it's optimized a good amount. Transform vector. So again, changing this entire node group to just this. Like, look at that. That is so nice. And I believe they're adding this to make node groups, you know, more robust, so that we don't have to go through hoops like that. I like how this plays along with the location, rotation, and scale colors. It's just more extreme, a more extreme version of that. Okay. All right. I want to just try transform vector, and then. Oh wait, but I didn't redo the face's current transformation. So I could just store that. I want to see how expensive just storing one new one is. Okay, let's set this to 4x4, face domain. I'll connect that, and then I'll put this in here. Because stacking is a little bit funky. Face transformation, combine. Oh wait, no. Actually, wait, this is a little bit weird. Oh, wait a second. Huh. Maybe I don't redo the... Because I have a local position, a local offset, which I don't need to put into matrix. But, as much as I don't want to... Actually, wait, yeah, I don't think I can do this all at once. Maybe I can. We take the transform, then we transform the transform. Is that what I use the transpose transform thing for? What was this again? Oh no, multiply matrices. I could potentially do that. I'm very much not sure. It's a matter of how much of this do I want to replace. Ideally, I would like to replace all of it with the transform version. And it would work, I think, but there's still a little bit of funky stuff going on here. We take the previous transform, and we offset... wait, okay. Let's try to think about this a little bit better. So we get the old face transform, we separate it, we do all of these operations, then we put it back. So we separate, which means I would also have to separate the parent transform like I did before. So let me just go and move this over here. I'm reminding myself how I made this. Okay, we go do. There we go. We separate both of them, which I fear is very expensive. Anyway. Or do we need... Well... I feel like I need to because of this part. Because I need to do that local rotation stuff. Like the rotation... Here, let me copy this. So we take the... Or wait. Oh no, that's the local... Okay, so we take the parent rotation. Then we take the local face transform. And then we rotate it by the manipulated version of that, which is technically outside the node group, which is making this so much more fun. So we do that. which, yes, of course that broke. That's expected. So that's good. And then... this is funky. Okay. Okay. Since I broke the thing out of the node group, this is much more annoying. Okay, let me try to organize myself. Okay. So, rotation's done. That can be combined. Combine. Transform. Yeah, let's just plug that in there. Now, the location. We need to take the parent location, add this to there, and then we're good. Now, this should be good. I'm very worried about the conversions. I feel like it'll be more expensive, even though it might not be. Uh-oh. Yeah, that did make it jump. But I think after I remove the other stuff, it will go down. I hope. I really, really, really hope. Then if we do that, it looks like it should be okay. But the scale is manipulated by... Okay. I think I have this now. So this is local. And the rotations are being messed with outside, which is very annoying. I should have brought that inside of it, but it's okay. It's okay. Alright, so we have that and that. Then the scale is the local scale is manipulated out there, and that does not refer to the parent. So I could just go and scale the scale by the scale. Now, I did cheat a bit with this because I'm not resetting the scale. So it is faster to a degree because I cheated, which means that the actual version might be slower, but we'll see. Combine transform is a new node. It's one in an experimental build of Blender that the devs are considering merging into the main version of Blender. Because it seems like it's mostly done, at least from the tone of the dev who was working on it. Okay. Now that we have that. It's still not entirely broken, which I am amazed by. But now that we have that, I can go and reference the face transforms, put that into there, and it might... Shoot. I was hoping that that would work as I intended. Now, what did I do wrong? The face local transforms seem to be mostly fine. What did I do wrong? Face local transforms. So local transforms, that's the... Now I still don't know if that's accurate. It seems like it was. For this one, we don't need you, at least for the most part. We'll see. Now, rotations are still a little bit funky with this, because rotations can be Eulers or quaternions. I'm treating these mostly like Eulers, as we can see here. I'm not sure if that'll work. So here we can see, oh my god. Let's see if we can get this, oh, combine transform. Is there a combine? Oh, yeah, combine. Yes, putting the location rotation scale into a transforms. Combine transform. Yes. I was like, wait, we can't combine matrices? So, a transform is kind of a matrix. They call them by both names, which is interesting, but it's okay. Yeah. That's a little bit funky in the naming scheme. It's like combine matrix. I don't know. I think I would rather have it be consistent with all the other nodes. But the color does make it seem like they're the same, which, okay, yeah, that's a band-aid over it. Alright. So according to my little brain here, it should be functioning. It is more expensive because of all these nodes. So I could try cutting all those out. It's fast, it's around the same speed, but a few of these are still being bogged down by the old ones. So let's go and just chop out the old ones. Yeah, let's just fully, like, I'm not sure if this is gonna work. Again, first time, well, no, not my first time playing with matrix nodes. Unreal has them. But first time playing around with these, with this node setup, so it's gonna be a bit rough. Let's go and just move these back. All right. Should be fine. Now that could be one reason why the local stuff is freaking out a little bit. Because of the, face local stuff. There's the face position and then all of that. Oh, maybe that's why, because it's not properly taking into account. Now maybe it is. Maybe it is. We will see. Because I could... Okay, maybe if I want to break this down a little bit more, I could use a separate transform node. And then do, like... Yeah, okay. Since the rotation, I could invert the rotation and then do what I would do normally there. So, I would do this, but then just expand it out. Like, the matrix is already inverted. So, okay. I'm gonna try to do this right, first try. So, we want this. It will be separated like that, which is good. We can do that and that. So now we have the local rotation. So now if we combine into a matrix, rotation should be good. Scale should be the same. And then all that's left is the position. So we just take the current position, subtract it by the other one, and we should, fingers crossed, be okay. But we're not. That's what I was worried about. Need to make sure all the domains are all right. We got face, we got face. That's the only part where things are funky. We're doing the new transform. Should be fine. Face local transform should be fine. So what's wrong? Let's also go and can all of that so that we can only see this stuff. So again, that's what should be occurring. The local transform is coming from outside, which I'm still annoyed by, but it's okay. So here we can see it is faster. Okay, it is faster. If I can get it to actually work. That has no data anymore, so I'm going to just try separate transform. That, nope, that's the wrong one. That, and that. Okay, so the new transform is wrong. Quite wrong. Let's go and just make this neater. As we can see, it's compressing this by a large amount. I just need to figure out what the heck I did wrong. Yeah, like, look at that. It could be smaller, but it's close. Close to... Oh! Maybe that's why. Or no, the vertex local positions are... I stored those, didn't I? Yeah, those are already stored. Yeah, that should be okay. These inverted. No, it should be fine. So what's the matter? Oh no, I'm subtracting from there, so that should be an add. Because I already inverted it. It's already inverted, so... Somewhere along the line, the interpolation got screwed. So, let us go in here, chop out the scale. Okay, so if the scale is not toyed with... Oh, intriguing. So it looks like it's mostly okay. Like the multiply matrices, it's okay. Store transforms, no, nothing beyond this point needs to be edited. Nothing. Just this. No, actually that's fine. Location should be fine. So, okay, let's try doing a few other things. Okay, no, that's good. All that's good. It's being disassembled and reassembled perfectly. Okay, so that is all completely fine. This means that I'll be able to make a new video about this. Going over, okay, this is how you do it with the matrix nodes. It's a whole lot more simple. Have fun. So, it's the, that's the issue. It's being perfectly decoded and encoded. Except, I feel like that's going to be the issue. Encode, decode. These ones are technically not needed, so I can just go and chop them all out. Referencing the parent only once for all this data is going to be so much better. Because, like, I would think that, you know, it going into one socket would be easier, but then again, I have to reference it twice to do 2 nodes, which is inefficient. Well, with this, I just need to do it once. So we can see here, even with, oh, the stacking has gotten a lot faster. Ooh, this is going to be good, if I can figure it out. So we only have that, and if anyone knows who has experience doing matrix transforms and such. Uh-oh. What'd I break? Ah, that's why I broke. Makes sense. So we can see that the scale is screwed up significantly. But if it's set to 1, then that means it should be completely fine anyway. So, okay, let's try restacking the transforms with no edits whatsoever. So, that would just be rotate that by that. It looks like the rotations are correct. Adding the transforms. Just make it so that it's always the parent. Okay, no, that one is... Okay. Okay. Oh, do we need to scale the offset to the parent? Is that it? That might be it. Since I'm adding that... Not sure. Subtract? That seems to be closer to what I'm wanting. Let's play around with it, see what I screwed up. Because the scale should affect the local transform, if I'm correct. Or maybe I just set this up really, really poorly. The scaling looks like it's working. With the and it's weird that the scale's affecting everything. Well, no, the way the chain works. Okay, let's go and limit the iterations to 1. 2. Okay, just enough so that it can start breaking so that I can analyze this. What analysis? So we can see at 1, it already breaks. That might just be because... Yeah, I'll just keep the anchor 1 there so that we can actually see what's happening. So here we can see that freaks out. Now what is it? If it's just that, we can see, oh, it's being put right there. That's completely fine. So if we add, so what do the, actually, yeah. Maybe we can see what the local transforms look like? This should have been easy, but since I made this with the old method, it makes sense. Oh, we're already past an hour, okay. I should wrap this up. But we're close. We're close to making it work. I think you can get the local transformation by multiplying the inverse transformation of the parent on the left. Yeah, so kind of like what I'm doing here, I would think. The one issue is that the Euler thing, I kind of need to do that Euler thing to make it work, to make part of it work. Just for the local rotations and such. Like that, I think might screw up a little bit of the stuff. Actually, if I just disable the rotation aspect of this. You just use your parent's rotation? The encoding and decoding process should be perfect. Because the face stacking is not doing what it should. It should take the parent's transformation and the local transformation and restack them. Here, let's rebuild this one part at a time. Okay. So, we have parent transformation, which does not look correct. Let's bump up the iterations by a few times just so that we can. Yeah, no, those don't look right. Where's the square grid demo? Square grid, where are you? Let's just make a square of quads. Testing is required. But once this is the case, I need to screenshot this so that I don't have to. Well, I have the recording, which will be good. Alright, so we should see here which parts break immediately. So we should see, yep, both there and there. Those get reset. Okay, no, that's working. It's going to the face's origin. So now, if we were to add the local transforms, they should be in the right place. And it looks like they pretty much are. Or no, they are not. So the local transform is incorrect. How? Here, let me try doing this in the dumbest way I know how. So if we do that, we just take the parent's transformation, subtract that from that, which means I need to invert the rotation. Invert rotation, plug that into there, just like I had it in the old version. I can upgrade this eventually, but for now, I just want this to function. So it should be added, and those should be in the correct place. Now, if it were to connect the rotation, no. Well, we can see that that works. For iteration 1, no. What the heck is going on? Still doing the unfolding effects? I thought you finished it. Ah, it is done. But we got some new nodes, transform nodes, which for this project would make it a lot simpler. As we can see, it's a lot simpler now. Way less named attributes because now we can put the location, rotation, scale into one socket, do everything we want, and then do that. But I screwed something up along the way. So that's just a little problem. I'm trying to do it step by step, which should have been good. But I, again, screwed things up. Can you view this transformation in the spreadsheet? Yes, but it'll be a pain. So if we look at the face stuff, as we can see, it's ... because there's literally too much data. So you can see it. Oh, we got some, imaginary numbers? We got some letters in there. Oh, that. All right. All right. Oh, no, that's normal stuff. Okay. So here we can actually see the matrix in its full form. All the numbers. So we got 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, and then negative 0.25, da. Which makes me wonder, I need to look up which parts do what. Because I'm assuming the bottom is rotation info. Or no, the bottom I'm assuming is position info. Yeah, that must be. And then the other ones are scale and... Okay, I think the 3x3 must be rotation. I'm not sure. I'm assuming the 3x3 is rotation. The ones to the side are scale. No, but... Actually, the... Once this is set afterwards... Oh, okay. Rotation is 0. The location... Yeah, okay. It's interesting that the scale is, interesting. Alright. 3x3 is rotation and scale. Okay. So the 4x4 includes the location in there. Location and scale. Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, how do we do this? I'm thinking about uprooting this and restarting the process just so that we can have the transformations, and then I just try to just replace parts of it without having to redo the whole thing because I messed up one of the orders of the operations somewhere. I'm just worried, I'm just a little bit worried about the interpolation, if that, it shouldn't happen, like bad interpolation, but I am worried about it. Just a little worried. Because that should be everything for the local transforms. Unless I'm missing something very, very obvious. So we take its own face location. We subtract it by the parents. We get the face's rotation, and we subtract it by the local rotation. And there we go. We don't need to do anything with the scale. It's fine. We put that into here as face local transform. And then we take the face transform, we undo it to get the vertex local positions. So that part should be good. As we can see, it's a lot smaller than it was before. So much smaller and way more efficient. Or at least it should be. Again, because it's storing 16 numbers rather than 9, as it was before. I'm a little worried about it. But in the long run, it's faster. Because you only need to do the store stuff once, and then call the parent once. So what am I doing wrong? Like, again, if I mute this, then I know that actually, let's replace this with the face local. Oh, shoot. Yeah, this is screwed up. Majorly. So the face local transforms are kind of crud. Evaluate on domain. Let's make that a face. Oh, that's even worse. Evaluating on a face. Ooh, that's bad. Oh no. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Oh no. That should be fine, right? Actually, wait. What am I talking about? We got that and that. Like, the transform is 0. Which means that all of these... Let's use a combined transform node. Combine. I should have looked at the document. Well, actually, I don't think there is documentation at the moment. Okay. We can now see that the vertex local position is whack. It is not correct at all. So what did I screw up? Store transforms. Location. That part is correct. Yeah. That is interpolated. So if we evaluate this... Oops, sorry, voice is going. That doesn't change anything. Does this change anything? Alright. So what the bleep is going on? Oh yeah, that's gonna change stuff. Face corner. Why does face corner work? That better not be a bug. Why would that do that? Huh. That doesn't make sense. If that is a bug, I will report it, but I'm quite confused. Face local transformation does seem to be bugged as well. At least a little bit. What did I screw up? Okay, I think I'm going to call it here. I will try this again. But again, this is an experimental build, so I would have to remake it anyway. It does seem like it will be considerably faster. So let me just do one last kind of check with all this. It won't be correct, but I'm just gonna go and give it a try. Just to see how fast it possibly can be while reading all the data and stuff like that. Let me reconnect this. Okay, so if anything, everything was up and... Oh, that looks pretty cool. I'm seeing some cool patterns. So it looks like the rotation is correct. Just the local position is a bit whack. That's cool. It's close to working. I probably just screwed up something small. So here, how does the timing look on this one? I just need to select the body. You know, it got spaghettified. Classic stuff. Home. Hello? Oh, there we go. Timing is pretty much the same. It is pretty much exactly the same. Okay, I'm actually surprised by that. That would be significantly faster. So it takes 18 milliseconds. I'm gonna check the timings on this. But it seems to be about pretty much the same. I think as a whole... Oh wait, the point conversion. Like if I set this back to point. Whoa, why was... Oh, dang. Whoa, why'd that become so expensive? Whoa. Huh. Okay. And wait, even with that optimization. Wait, whoa, what is going on? So that makes it 4 milliseconds faster. Or slower. And that... Okay, I'll look at the timings. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed the crystal part of the stream. I need to figure out what's going on with this, how expensive it is and stuff like that. But yeah, cool stuff. Very cool stuff that I need to figure out. Something... oh, they changed how that appears. It'll show you more the number instead of that. Interesting. I think I prefer it that way, yeah. Alright, thank you all for watching. This has been cool. I'll figure out what the heck is going wrong with all this. It's Probably something very simple. But anyway, again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one, and enjoy this kind of galaxy pattern from the glitches. Alright, see ya.